happy Friday to you. It is January 21st and time for this week's Friday Funnies, coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada, here at beautiful Caesar's Palace. Well, what a week this has been. The president of China visited the White House this week, primarily to pick up the rent, but he also reminded President Obama that we still owe him about $600 billion. Then he visited Chicago, where Mayor Daley is going to sell him the Hancock Building, the Cubs, and the Billy Goat Tavern in an effort to help balance the city budget. Meanwhile, in New York, forget about it. The government arrested 127 mob guys in the biggest mafia crackdown in history. They busted members of all of the major crime families and have locked up people including Tony 12 Toes, Vinny the Vulture, Bobby Bagels, Hank the Crank, Johnny Love Dart, Polly Walnuts, and Vito Corleone. But there are other stories in the news this week, so let's get to them. When we die, our loved ones have the choice of either burying us or having us cremated. Of course, they could always just leave us in the woods to be devoured by scavengers, but that's not a popular option anymore. If you've decided to be cremated, pay attention to these next two stories. In Miami, burglars broke into a woman's house and stole her jewelry, electronics, and 2 urns, one containing the ashes of her husband and the other containing the ashes of her 2 Great Dane dogs. Well, when the burglars got back to their hideout, they opened up the urns and they thought they had found a huge stash of heroin and cocaine. So, being burglars and therefore not too bright, they decided to sample their newfound drugs and snorted up big lines of ashes. The police arrested them later on when they found them hallucinating in the streets, yelling out, "I smell dead people." In Vienna, Austria, on the other hand, the Undertakers Association has decided to use their crematorium to help heat their headquarters. Since a great amount of heat has to be generated to cremate remains, they figured they'd go green. They wouldn't waste it, and they planned to reroute the heat to the building next door. It could have been worse. They gave up on their original plans to use the heat to cook at the restaurant they want to open called Remains of the Day. Now, nudity is always a welcome story in the news, but apparently not in a man's apartment in Victoria, British Columbia. A bachelor was asleep in his bed when a woman entered his apartment, went into the bedroom, took off all of her clothes, and crawled into bed with him. Well, this woke the guy up, and what did he do? He called police, who came over and they found the sleeping woman, went through her purse to discover her identity, and figured out that she lived in the same building, just on a different floor, and had opened the wrong door. My question, if you're a bachelor and you found a naked woman asleep in your bed, why would you call the police instead of just thanking your lucky stars and going out and buying lottery tickets? And our final story takes place in Norton Shores, Michigan, where 2 guys were peacefully ice fishing when a woman came up to them and asked them to turn their backs because she wanted to pee on the ice. Now, I've never been ice fishing, but I have written my name in the snow, and I know that pee tends to melt ice, but that's not the big problem here. When the men politely turned their backs, the woman hauled off and smacked them both with a dead fish. She clubbed one guy in the head and smacked the other guy in the face. The police were called and they asked her why she perpetrated this fish assault, and she told them she was rather inebriated and said, "I did it," just wait for this one, "just for the hell of it." All right, hey, that's all I have for you this week. Next week we will be back at the same Funnies time, same Funnies channel. In the meantime, don't forget to watch the football game on Sunday. Go Bears. See you next week.